somebody translated and uploaded my FIC. Not sure if hashtag celebrating or hashtag venting. I am not op. Original post by Youth Sipiloidia in our fanfiction. An NBSP. Original 8th September 2022. So, I recently stumbled upon a translation of my most popular FIC into Spanish on Wattpad. From what I can tell, it's a decent, but very literal translation. I happen to have a BA in Spanish translation. I'm not sure how to feel about this. I feel somewhat celebratory, since the FIC was popular enough for someone to be interested to put in this effort. It seems to be well received on Wattpad as well. The person did credit my name, so that's a plus. However, I feel kind of violated by the fact that they did not ask me whether it was okay. I only found the translation by accident. I have zero interest of my work being on Wattpad. I am not on Wattpad, so crediting my name is kind of pointless there. Also, the translator uploaded it with some random fan art that has nothing to do with my story and doesn't really fit the feel of the story. And all that's besides the fact that I could have translated it myself and have the translation exactly how I want it. So, since I couldn't decide on the celebrate or vent flair, let's make it a discussion. How does everybody feel about unsolicited translations? An NBSP. Update 24th September 2022. Well, since I do speak the language, I got curious and read a bit of my FIC. Turns out the person didn't even translate it. They used Google Translate. There goes me being flattered at their effort. How do I know? Well, here's the hilarious part. I write for anime and have the habit of using the Japanese rather than yes in my fics sometimes. Since Google Translate doesn't recognize the word, it promptly translated it into United Nations. The FIC is a full in smut, and in the translation, some conversations now go like this. The male main still held her hands as well as her gaze. Fem. Main. You said that you wanted to see me naked, right? Quote. Male main. United Nations. Of course the readers have no idea how and why this happened. So the comment section went bonkers over how stupidly funny that makes the FIC. Male main. Do you want to touch me? Quote. Fem. Main. United Nations. Comment section. United Nations. Daddy. Quote. I almost passed out laughing. Edit. I love how the primary reaction to this post is, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Still funny though. LMAO. Quote. Thanks to everyone for the entertaining comments. An NBSP. Reminder, I am not the original poster. Do you want to go to prom with me? United Nations. My favorite error was in a Weiss Cruise anime from 1998. FIC. One character was German. It was bad enough reading stories that paired him romantically with someone featuring cringy endearments. Liebchen is an endearment, but something a doting old woman would use for her granddaughter. And if you spell it Liebchen, you're basically calling someone T-shirt. The bestest error ever had the character, who was a telepath, in a very dramatic scene, sitting on the floor with his hands to his head, sobbing for all the voices in his head to please stop. Stop is just stop in German, too. But the author went the extra mile, Googling around. So the guy was moaning, Haltestelle. Haltestelle. Haltestelle means stop. Bus stop. I'm about to come. United Nations. 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 I worked for Wizards of the Coast, the makers of Magic, the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, for about a decade and a half. In one D&D edition update, the class of Mage was merged with Wizard. To simply fix it quickly, they did a find plus replace for mage and switched to wizard, but neglected to add a leading space in front of the search. That meant in copies of that book you took de wizard instead of damage. Womp womp. United Nations, Daddy. Rolling on the floor laughing, 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 rolling on the floor laughing. I keep catching literal translations, or whatever a confused translator thought they meant without taking into account the story context. Some more recent ones I caught. She got dumped, she got abandoned. Oh, don't be such a narc. Don't be such a drug dealer. Quote, Army vet, Army veterinary. I see this one a lot. These are official TV translations by proper translation companies. What are you doing? Learn some slang loudly crying. United Nations, Daddy. OMG, that's funny. Goes on one knee and takes out ring, my darling. Would you mind uniting your nation with mine? Wait, that's just old style alliance via royal marriages. I kinda want to read it now. Husband. What's so funny? Me. Choking on water as I stare at him. Husband. Another Reddit drama post? Me. United Nations. Husband. What? Just personal preference. But gratuitous Japanese annoys me and fix. I'm fine with basically any Japanese used as or in place of a proper noun. So names, nicknames, etc. of anyone or anything. And I'm fine with honorifics. But you start just replacing regular words for no reason. And I tend to quickly reach the point of not wanting to read anymore. I'm sorry, but the exchange, the male main still held her hands as well as her gaze. Fem. Main. You said that you wanted to see me naked. Right? Male main. United Nations. Is one of the best things my eyes have read on this website. New safe word idea. I was prepared to rage on your behalf. But if my FIC got translated and United Nations, Daddy was one of them, then I wouldn't be able to stop laughing. Glad you're okay. Op, tears of joy. I've been needing a code word for sexy stuff. Did not expect United Nations to fit the bill. But here we are. United Nations. United Nations, Senpei. It sucks when people don't ask when they translate your FIC if you've not given blanket permission. Even with some attempt at credit. But I am so confused by the Google translation of it. Every person who translated a FIC of mine has been ESL. Translating to their native language and posting it on sites with that audience. What was the goal of just feeding it into a translator and spitting out nonsense? Aside from the unintentional majesty of United Nations. Daddy. MTLnovel.com gives me seizures when reading MTL translations. Chinese to English is extra spicy. Hilarious. This reminds me of an episode of News Radio where the billionaire boss wrote an autobiography which flopped in the US. But a Japanese translation was a bestseller. So he had the Japanese version retranslated back to English. Edit. Here's the clip.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Heracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.